My name is Andrew Stephen Rose. Welcome to the show. For years, I've been known as the gym guy. This show isn't about the gym. Some of it might be, but most of it, it's about business, it's about health, it's about your life, your relationships, and optimizing all of it to be the best you can be. All right, so this is going to be the first of a two-part series that I'm overwhelmingly compelled to film because it's January 31st. And everybody's going to go do their thing tonight, party it up, make some great decisions. And then they're going to go into tomorrow with all of these goals, these aspirations of what they want to accomplish in 2025. But the question that I have to ask is, why didn't you do it in 2024 or 2023? So I'll get a little bit more lighthearted with it. And, I love to speak through analogies. So probably going to do a lot of that. But the, it's the first one that comes to mind, and it's the one that I wrote down straight away this morning when I sat down and make some notes before I record this, is box it up. I underlined it. Box it up. We've all got shit that's holding us back. We've all got things, excuses that we tell ourselves, or whatever reasons that we come up with why we don't have what we want, why we can't have what we want, or why it's just life's not fair. And the list goes on, right? We can talk about business, your fitness, relationships, like always. It applies to all of it. But you have to first identify the shit that's holding you back. Take a really hard look at areas in your life where you're not happy. And if you look close enough, you'll be able to identify the shit that's there that you allow to be there that's holding you back. Back in the day when I used to teach spinning, one of the cues I would give people in terms of their cycling technique, because when most of us learn how to ride a bike, we learn, the piston method, right? Up and down with our legs. But cycling it's very much a circular motion, not quite a full circle, but the technicalities of it are irrelevant right now. But the cue that I would use to people that I was teaching was to scrape your foot across the bottom of your pedal stroke, almost as if you stepped in gum or you stepped in dog shit, right? So when you step in dog shit, there's only one way to get it off your shoe, and it's to scrape your shoe on the ground or scrape it in the grass. Same thing with gum. So identifying what's stuck to your shoe. Because if you've ever stepped in dog shit, no matter where you go, you're always reminded of the fact that you stepped in dog shit because it smells. Similarly, if you stepped in gum, it's going to stick everywhere you go. You're going to track it in the house. You're going to track it in your car. It's going to go everywhere. And it's annoying. And it takes really hard work. And it's going to be abrasive, right? In order to get that shit from off of your shoe, or that gum from off of your shoe, you have to be abrasive with it. It's not just going to go away, right? It's not just going to fall off. It's not just going to dry and go away. You have to aggressively attack it. And what I mean by that is, in the literal sense, right? You need to scrape your shoe on concrete, and it's going to break that shoe down a little bit. But guess what? I would rather have a slightly broken down shoe that doesn't smell like dog shit or isn't covered in gum, so I can move forward with my life and my day and not be reminded of the fact that I stepped in gum. Because if there's one thing, if you're anything like me, it's just going to annoy the shit out of you. and it's going to occupy bandwidth in your head that you need in order to move forward, in order to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to get to today or tomorrow or next week. So the thing is, everyone has big goals. Everyone. You might not think it, but there's something that you want to accomplish this year, and something that maybe you've wanted to accomplish last year or the year before and you haven't quite gotten there, or you started and stopped, or you just failed altogether, or you're like, you know what, I can't do it, so I'm not even going to start. Everybody has it. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. There's so many things I look back in my life, I'm like, man, wow, I really screwed the pooch on that one. I could have had this or that, or I could have had this much money in my bank account, or this type of relationship, or my business could be a certain way, or my fitness could be at the level that I want it to be. But there are reasons that I didn't get there. And if I go into the next year, if I make goals for 2025 and I go into next year not having identified the things that have held me back in the past, and identified a solution for the things that have held me back in the past, removing those things from the equation altogether. The people that succeed in accomplishing those goals, those big goals, small goals, whatever they are, the people that succeed are the ones that first successfully scrape the shit from their shoe. So whatever it is, and I started out by saying box it up. Obviously, we can't make things disappear. We can't make mistakes disappear, and shortcomings, and all the times that we fuck up. We can't make it disappear. We can learn from it, but it doesn't have to be in your face, right? Just because you scraped off the bottom of your shoe doesn't mean that you forget that you stepped in dog shit. You just know how to avoid it in the future. Now you're looking for it so you can avoid that pitfall when it comes, because as well there's shit everywhere. You just have to avoid it. So when I say box it up, what I mean is you take those lessons, take those reminders, whether they're literal or figurative, right? Put it in a box. Get rid of the box. I don't care what you do with it. Throw it out, whatever. Burn it, but leave it there. Leave it in the past. Apparently I'm using dog analogies a lot, right? Dogs are known for digging stuff up and bringing it to you. So then you're reminded of it. So whatever your shortcomings are, where your sticking points are, the the shit that's holding you back, once you've identified it, you need to compartmentalize it. Obviously, you're learning from it. That's important. If you're not learning from it, that's a whole different story. But before you get to the point where you write down what you want to accomplish, which many of you do, I do the same thing. Here's what I want to get done this year, financially, physically, relationally. Here's what I want. Before I sit down and write that out and make a plan to accomplish it, that'll be the second video. It's not so much writing the goals down, it's having a plan of action and a roadmap of how to actually accomplish them. But before any of that, before you can write it down and take action on it, you have to identify why you haven't accomplished it yet. And this is where you have to be brutally honest with yourself. This is where that concept of radical accountability, here it is again. Look at yourself. Take a look in the mirror. What are the things I have said and done, the people I've surrounded myself with, the information that I've allowed in, the bandwidth that I have spent on things that are taking me farther and farther away from what it is I want to accomplish, or just distracting you. We have so many distractions around us. What are the things that cause you to lose your way? Take time and write this shit down. And this is an exercise an exercise I really want you to do. Write it down on a piece of paper. Put it in a box. Get rid of the box. It's done, right? Yes, it's kind of cheesy. Box it up. But I got to be honest. This is how I'm going about my year. The shit, if you knew half the shit I have gone through in the last 365 days, things that followed me from 2023 into 2024, things that I am not going to allow bandwidth to, to be in my life in 2025. Because as the year has is worn on, these things they've taken up more and more space, and they've changed my behavior, they've changed my interactions with people, the way that I take care of myself, the way that I feed myself, the way that I train, the way that I run my business, all of it. Relationships, it's affected everything. So I could make probably 12 episodes based on all of the bullshit that I'm looking at, the things that I'm writing down. Um, but that's for me, right? Like, there's some funny ones in there, and maybe I'll share those in the next video. But the truth is, and I will wrap this up, if you truly want to accomplish those goals that you have in your brain that you've had this year and last year and the year before and the year before that, and you're wondering, like, shit, maybe this is the year. January 1st doesn't mean shit. It's just a day on a calendar. It doesn't mean anything. You can do this stuff any day of the year. You can do it in December or March or April, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be January 1st. It can be January 2nd. The date is irrelevant. The action is what's important. Identify what it is that's been holding you back. Be honest with yourself. Be brutally honest. And be prepared to get abrasive as a way of removing it. Because if you don't get deliberately deliberately abrasive with it, it's not going to go away, and it's going to follow you around, and it's going to hold you back. The last thing I want is to be on the phone with a guy that says, this is the 4th year I've tried to do this, or I've been trying to do this for the last 10 years. And like, it's not the science of rockets, guys. It's really pretty simple. It's painful when you have to look at yourself and your own shortcomings and go, well, okay, the problem was me. Here's how I'm going to fix the problem. Once you have identified how to fix the problem, then you can start tacking on some goals that you want to accomplish. Because having a goal on a piece of paper doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. Having an action plan doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. Even taking action doesn't matter. What matters is knowing where you're going to get stuck. And once you've identified where you're going to get stuck, then you can adapt the plan. You can adapt those action steps, right? What you're actually executing on. You can prepare yourself for the things that are going to get you stuck. So when they come up, you're like, oh, wait, I knew this was coming. I've already dealt with this. That's my plan for the year. You guys do what you want. But I can tell you, when I sit down on December 31st of 2025, this isn't the message that I'm going to give you guys. The message that I'm going to give you is, if you think back a year ago and you watch this video and you applied the things that I talked about, you'll have the success that you want. That's the story I want to share, not the analogy about dog shit being stuck on your shoe. So if you got a shitty smelling shoe, put it on, tie it up, go outside, get rid of it. That's all I got. Happy New Year. Be safe. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for listening to the show. Whether you watched it on YouTube, whether you streamed it on whatever podcast streaming service you choose, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. This show has been a blast to bring back. I'm enjoying everybody that I'm speaking with, and I'm having a blast making the content that I'm making for you guys. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm here. As you may already know, I'm a coach. I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I've recently changed a lot of how I approach my coaching and the coaching program that I offer. So if that's something you want to know a little bit more about, click on the link in the bio. Check out what I'm about. And once I've gained your trust, let's talk about working together. Thanks again.